You're the Bahrain Grand Prix. Desert circuit, floodlights, brake smoke, sand in places sand has no business being. You're 5.412 kilometers long, you've got 15 corners, and when you actually host a race it's 57 laps of tire abuse, rear traction arguments, and pit walls pretending their strategy model is not just Excel wearing a team shirt. You first joined Formula One in 2004. And have spent the rest of your existence acting like the sport's annual heatstroke exam. In 2026, though, your life takes a strange turn. You are not the season opener. You are not even a race weekend. Formula One and the FIA cancel both Bahrain and Saudi Arabia's April rounds because of the situation in the Middle East, and suddenly your big role in the championship becomes former plan. Which is brutal, because nothing says humiliation like being important enough for everyone to discuss and unavailable enough for nobody to actually turn up with race fuel. But because Formula One is incapable of leaving a perfectly good desert alone, you still host 2026 pre-to-season testing. So your new identity is not Grand Prix weekend under the lights. It's 3-day public relationship test between engineers and their own winter delusions. The entire paddock rolls into Sakhir with brand new 2026 cars, new power units, new aero concepts, and the sort of fake calm people use when their future depends on cooling efficiency and a suspiciously warm battery. And these 2026 cars are not subtle updates. No, Formula One has once again decided the best way to create clarity is to redesign reality. The cars are smaller, lighter, and more nimble. They've got active aerodynamics. They've got new power units with more battery contribution and advanced sustainable fuel, which means Bahrain testing becomes less let's shake down the car and more let's find out whether we've built a masterpiece or a mobile HR complaint. This is where your personality really shines, because Bahrain is not glamorous in the way Monaco thinks it's glamorous. You are useful. You are a proper workplace for suffering. Long straights, heavy braking zones, traction zones, tire wear, thermal stress, and just enough overtaking opportunity to encourage bad decisions from confident men with headsets. You are where teams go to discover whether their car is quick, kind on tires, stable on entry, and capable of not behaving like a shopping trolley once the rear surface temperature goes nuclear. So testing begins. One team tops the times and immediately says, "It means nothing," which in Formula One is what you say when it clearly means something but you'd rather not trigger 6 emergency meetings in other garages. Another team does a huge lap count and calls reliability encouraging, which usually translates to, the car stayed alive, but one subsystem is speaking in tongues. A third team says balance is interesting, which is racing driver code for, I no longer trust the rear axle as a concept. And somewhere, in every garage, one engineer is saying, let's not overreact, while overreacting so hard internally they briefly leave their body, and because you're Bahrain, even without a race, your aura is still pure consequence. Turn 1 still looks like it wants a lockup. Turn 4 still feels like it's one optimistic lunge away from a ruined Sunday. The long runs still produce that lovely Bahrain-specific moment, where one driver is half a second slower, but insists the car comes alive over a stint, which is Formula One for, please ignore the headline pace while we search for dignity in the tire deg. You are not here to flatter anyone. You are here to expose them. If the Grand Prix had actually happened, you know exactly what the script would have been. Somebody sticks it on pole by 3/10, and a team principal describes it as a solid lap, while privately trying to identify which department has betrayed him. Someone else blames tire prep, deployment, wind direction, or the moon. Lap 1, turn 1, one driver brakes far too late and arrives at the apex with all the grace of a piano being dropped down a lift shaft. Safety car, instant strategy chaos. One team nails the undercut and looks like geniuses. Another pits into traffic and turns a podium into an educational resource. A driver flat spots the front tires so badly the car sounds like a tumble dryer full of cutlery. His engineer speaks in calm, diplomatic phrases. The driver replies like a man being audited at 190 miles an hour. Then, with 10 laps to go, Bahrain does what Bahrain does best, one overtaking move around the outside of turn 4 that is either heroic or professionally concerning. The commentators lose verbal control. The past driver radios something that begins with "what is he doing" and ends with a phrase the broadcast delay was invented for. The winner crosses the line under the lights. Podium, fireworks. Champagne sprayed onto at least one person who clearly didn't consent to becoming sticky on camera. Heavy trophy, vague smiles, press conference. Same 4 questions, different order. spiritual dehydration, but not in 2026. In 2026, your life as the Bahrain Grand Prix is somehow even more Bahrain than usual. No actual Grand Prix, just heat, hype, regulations nobody fully trusts, and 3 days of very smart people pretending they are not one sensor reading away from an existential event. You didn't get the race, you still got the stress. Which, in fairness, is basically your brand.